Okay. So whenever we talk about the projects, whenever we say the project management, it all goes with the first and most important thing. We will start and understand this life cycle, the product life cycle, how it moves toward it. Need assessment is there. You make a business case and then benefit management plan. This business case and benefit management plan are pre-project activities. Okay. They are considered as a pre-project activities. Then we have initiation, planning, execution, monitoring and control, and closing. When the project get transferred and it goes into operations. It goes into operations. This entire thing is called product lifecycle. This part of the project, this is called project. This is called project life. This is a very important thing. Okay. So when we talk about anything in the project management, product life cycle is very important. Asna, don't mute me, yaar. Don't mute me. Who is muting me? I made you co-host. You are muting me. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is very important. Project life cycle, product life cycle, how they move towards that. The entire discussion that we will have today, the entire discussion that we will have today will be into that part and context. Okay. How the project moved and how the product life cycle moves through that direction. So putting that into the context, the entire discussion will be according to that dynamics. So we will start with the business case. So basically, why projects are started? Projects are started because an organization want to increase the business value. An organization want to increase the business value. That's why the projects are started. What is business value? Business value is a combination of tangible, money part, and intangible, non-money part. Tangible is straightforward, your cash flow, your return on investment, how much money you are getting. Okay, that is basically your tangible things that you can easily measure. Tangible part, money part. Okay, ROI is used all over the world. Return on investment, how much money I am getting because I'm spending some money. Return on investment, or they also say we also look into that benefit to cost ratio. This becomes the part of business case. This becomes the part of business case. Okay, they are the part of business case. And we have intangible. Intangible things are part of benefit management plan. What is benefit management plan? This will be measuring intangible things, brand recognition, things of those nature. For example, now I clear we today on 28th of September, 7 students cleared PMP. 7 students. That's tangible. I can measure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But how did they clear? What was their path, their success journey, the feelings, all those things. That is you cannot give it a number into that way. That's a feelings on things of so that we put in the part of benefit management plan, how you want to measure into it. So intangible and tangible. So both of these, I am doing. Once they are approved, business case and benefit management plan approved, then project charter is made. Project charter is the first document. When it is approved, the project gets started. When project charter gets approved, the project gets started. Okay. What is a project charter? If I say, what is the project charter? Project charter consists of basically high level values of all those things. What is the scope of the project? Okay. What is the schedule time in the project? What is the cost of the project? How we are going to measure quality? How we are going to measure procurement, customer satisfaction, stakeholder, high level, everything at a high level is mentioned in the project charter. Okay. It is approved by sponsor, and now project manager gets the designation. Now project manager gets the designation. It's a very important thing. Even when the project charter is being made, and even after the project is made, three, four things are very critical. First is your organizational process assets and EEF. I need to see what are the organizational policies, what are the procedures that organization is following right now, what tools and templates are available, the past lesson learned register and lesson repository. Everything we need to consider into that. Then talking about EEF. EEF consists of what are the cultural aspect, economical aspect, legal things of those nature, political, economical, social, technical, legal, environmental. Which project management information system is available there? Na? How you can, like for example, right now, those students who are my premium student enrolled in batch or one-to-one, they are at the Zoom. But I also made this session live for everybody else on YouTube. For those people who want to watch the session and they haven't joined the program because of any XYZ reason, they can basically watch on YouTube. But if you want to ask the question, get a premium thing, then you join the program. PMIS, Work Authorization System. Okay, employee capability, internal and external, what data is available, how which type of people we can hire in the from the market. These things affect the project. So they are the for PEF. Then another thing that affect your project is your type of organization. Are you in a projectized organization? Projectized or project oriented organization, which means 100% resources are dedicated for the project? Or are you in a functional organization? Functional organization is basically an operational organization. They have a resource constraint. There is no project manager. Even if he's there, we call him project expeditor, having no power at all. Or are you in a balance matrix organization where both have the same power? Project manager and functional manager. And if there's a conflict, we escalate it to sponsor. Or you are in a weak matrix where project manager exists, the very limited resource and power, we call him a coordinator. You can say if expeditor has 0% power, coordinator has like 10% power, functional manager has 90% power. Or are you in a strong matrix? Strong matrix is more towards strong matrix is more toward what to say projectized organization, right? Uh, Here, project manager has 90% power. Most of the organization in the world consist of balance metrics. In the exam, it is not if it is not mentioned, consider your organization as a balance metrics organization. Okay. Then we need to consider, do you have a project management office? If it is it a sportive type that provides only tools, technique, templates, or is it a controlling type which does provide techniques and templates, but it also does your audit? Or are you in a directive type PMO? In directive type PMO, basically everything is provided. Everything is provided, but here you are like a dummy. Day-to-day activities is being monitored. They have said, okay, this is the activity that way. So sportive, controlling, and directive PMO, three different type of PM. So when even when the project charter is made, it is made under the influence of this. And these three things, your OPS EEF, your organization type, and PMO, they are going to implement throughout the project. Okay. Now, when the project charter is made and approved, project manager as a step one, review project charter. He review the project charter to see who the key stakeholder are, so that he can have a meeting with them and uh, identify other stakeholders. He can explain them their job and responsibility. And then he make assumption log. So assumption log is a document which will have all the assumptions and constraint of the project, right? All the assumptions and constraints right now in the project assumption log will have. Okay. Once it is done, then he goes to the next thing. He start identifying the stakeholders. Okay, this is a very important thing. Why he is doing on, let's say on day one, identifying the stakeholder. As not identifying the stakeholder can make or break the project. Not identifying them make or break the project. We need to do that. So how does he identify the stakeholders? We'll discuss in a minute. Just to give you the context one more time, this session is going to be very speed. This session we are going to consider every single thing into the best possible way in a quickest way. Okay, so do message in the group, do share in the link that everyone in the group they also join. Share the link in the group. And let me just check. Many people have just messaged me. I don't understand what they're still asking the link. Okay. So project charter, assumption log, stakeholder register. Please, Asnath, Arundip, you guys can share the link in the group. Also, many students are asking me personally. Okay. Now you want to identify the stakeholder. There's a process sequence that must be followed. First, you ask the experts, hey, who the stakeholders are. And the first expert you interview is always the one we know for sure, sponsor. Once you have interviewed the sponsor, then you go to the focus group. Now, focus group, when you are doing it, sponsor has given you a list. They can be the focus group or the stakeholder project charter have a list of key stakeholders. You get a focus group. Then, if the stakeholders is large, it's more number, you can have a facilitated workshop there. You can look at organizational process assets, your past lesson learned registers. You can look at EF. Now I loved EF in this case. You can easily tell who are the political stakeholder, economical stakeholder, social stakeholder, technical stakeholder, legal stakeholder, environmental stakeholder. The entire pastel we get it through here, internal as well as external. Then you check project documents. Like we have a lot of project documents here. For now, we have project charter, business case, benefit management plan, and stakeholders an iterative process. It keeps on happening. In the future, you can look into the other stakeholders and they will also commit here. Now you have identified the stakeholder. The next step is basically categorizing the stakeholder. How you categorize them? Upward stakeholder. Who are the upward stakeholder? Whom I'm gonna who are the downward stakeholder? Who are reporting me? Okay, who are at my same level, sideward stakeholders, who are internal stakeholders, and who are external stakeholders. We will identify all the stakeholders in our project. We have categorized them. Now comes the prioritize. Now this prioritization is very critical. I'm gonna power on one part and interest on other part. High power, high interest, power, low interest. Low power, high interest, low power, low interest. Those holders who have high power and high interest, they are very interested stakeholders. They know what to do, what not to do. You manage them closely. You manage them closely. Put them near to your heart. But those stakeholders who have high power, they are not interested. You still keep them satisfied. You need to keep them satisfied. If they are not satisfied, there are people with high power, they can destroy you. People do those who have less power but they are highly interested, keep them informed, because giving them the information will make them focus on the task. Having low power, low interest, put them into a watch list and kind of monitor them once a quarter, once a month, however your frequency is, but you need to monitor them. This power and trust is a very important. It is practically in the exam, you get a question that is not related to it. So you should make this one by your own hand without any doubt. Graph. Okay. We also have other models for prioritization like a stakeholder cube, power, interest, and the third one, anything, geography, attitude, things of those nature, stakeholder cube, or salience model. Another 3D model, power, urgency, and legitimacy. Another 3D model. Just knowing their name and understanding that they are three, it is more than enough. You don't need to go into depth of that. Now, what we have done, going back to the slide, I will keep coming to this page. We have made assumption log. We have identified the stakeholder. We have categorized the stakeholder, make them high power, high interest. Now we need to make stakeholder engagement plan. So what does stakeholder engagement plan has? Two things. Stakeholder engagement plan has two things. It has strategies, how to engage the stakeholder, and how do you make strategies? You have a stakeholder engagement matrix. Stakeholder engagement matrix tells you at every instant what type of strategy do you need. You make a stakeholder engagement matrix, that is who are the stakeholders, what is their current engagement level. Let's say stakeholder 1, stakeholder 2, I'm just putting the name. Is he unaware about me? Is he resistant about me? Is he neutral about me? Sportive and leading. What is the current engagement level of a part-time stakeholder? And what do I desire? Okay. For example, one of the stakeholder engagement strategy for you guys, those who are my students, I have this Zoom session for you. I like for batch 9 especially and everyone else. We have last weekend we have 180 question answers. This weekend, this Saturday, we are doing this summary. Why? I want to make sure, let's say your engagement level is neutral, you become sportive and leading. Those 7 people, today 7 people cleared PMP. Now they are at a leading stage. I want to do engagement level there. But there are people who don't know me. For that, I made this session live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and put an ad on it also that people can watch it. And maybe after that, I will put a promotion on it so that more people can watch on YouTube. Those who don't know me, at least they know me. These are the strategies how I engage the stakeholder are documented in stakeholder engagement plan. That's it. Stakeholder engagement plan has strategy. Once this plan is made, this plan goes to the sponsor or change control board, approve the plan, you implement the plan. You close your eyes, whatever is written in the plan, you implement it. No judgment. Judgment come here in monitoring and control. I'm gonna use red color for it. Here you are doing variance analysis. You are checking your plan, what you made in planning, and your implementation. You are checking is the plan okay or does it need any change? If a plan need a change, you raise a change request. That change request goes to change control board. They approve it, and then you can update your plan. All the plans must be updated with the change request. That's it about the stakeholder topic. Anytime a new stakeholder is identified, anytime a new stakeholder is identified, we put him into the stakeholder register. Step 1, categorize them. Step 2, prioritize them. Step 3, stakeholder register is updated. Then we raise a change request. With change request, we update the plans, and that keeps on happening. That's the entire summary of it. Let me give you a quick summary one more time. Please read these steps. Image quickly. Read the 11th step, please. This is from PMP booklet. If you don't have this booklet, my students, you must have this. Message me, I'll give you a soft copy. If you are not my student, you can buy it from Amazon or you can buy a soft copy from me for a cup of coffee. It's like $10. Once you read it, put in the chat box, done, 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 done. And on the YouTube people, you can also put on the chat box that done, 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 done. And feel free to share it with anyone, YouTube, LinkedIn people who are learning for PMP. Okay, are we done? Okay, 14 people has put out of 70. Quickly, guys, 17 has put it. So that's all about stakeholder. Okay. Now, one other plan that goes hand in hand with stakeholder is communication plan, communication management plan. Now, this is a plan. So plan will be made in planning. The 4 R of communications are defined here. Right information. What information is needed? What is that information? Right time. What frequency? Daily, weekly, monthly. When do you need it? Okay. When do you need that pertinent information? Right information, right time to right people to have a right impact. Okay. Right information, right time to right people to have right impact. Simply saying who needs the information, when they need information, why they need information, how the information will be transferred. Is the information confidential, non-confidential? What is the type of the information, guys? We need to understand that. How that will be traveled. Are you gonna use push communication? Like push communication is calling someone, sending email, one that other did not ask for. Are you going to use pull communication, like watch going on YouTube, typing and things like that, or interactive communication? Interactive is two-side communication. Like after I asked everybody to put something in the chat box, it's interactive. I converted this communication into interactive. All the video conferences or the things like that are always considered as an interactive communication. Okay. But let's say when the session ends, I put it on the YouTube. You go and then check PMP in 2 hours. It comes out, it's a pull communication. If I send you a link, it's a push communication. Okay. So this is a difference between push, pull, interactive. Whenever a communication is happening, there is a one person who's a sender, the other person is a receiver. So sender send the information, which PMI says he encode the information. He encodes the information through medium. Like for example, right now, the medium is YouTube, the medium is Zoom, the medium is all those medium. We send the information through the medium, receiver decode it when he receive the information, and then give the feedback, what he understood from the information. Anything that damage the information, it is called noise. Anything that damage the information is called noise. As a project manager, your job is to make sure that information is understood. It can be formal, informal, written, verbal, whatever the information is. Especially when you are considering virtual team. Whenever you are considering virtual team, it's important to understand that virtual team has challenges. So you need to identify a virtual team and provide the training to the team members according to that and make effectiveness of the communication. Feedback is the heart and soul of the communication. It's very important when you are managing the communication to understand emotional intelligence. We will cover, but let's do it now. Whenever you are communicating, active listening, listening to the other person is critical, but emotional intelligence is very important. It consists of 5 elements. What are the 5 elements of the emotional intelligence? Put in the chat box, guys. What are the 5 elements of the emotional intelligence? Put in the chat box. The first thing start with self-awareness. First, I need to understand myself. Once I understand myself, self-management. Now I need to manage myself. Self-awareness, self-management. Once I understand these things, Then I go through outside social skills, how I interact with others. Then empathy, understanding how other people feel, what they are feeling. And finally, what motivates others. These five elements are combined called emotional intelligence. Understanding yourself and managing yourself and understanding in emotions of other and influencing them. So very critical thing is understanding motivational theories. Okay. When we talk about motivational theories, the Maslow hierarchy of need comes under as the first theory. Maslow says that once basic needs are done, then we'll move towards upward. For example, food, water, shelter, health. If you are suffering from temperature, no matter whatever I'm saying, you will not, you don't want to sit here. You want to take care of your health. That is an important need here. Okay. So once you have that, then your next need will be okay. Like for example, I have food now. Now I need security. Then I need a house. Then I need a good clothes. And finally, it goes up to self-realization. So purpose is if your basic needs are threatened, you don't move upward. Basic need is the most important thing. Then you move towards other. Hertzberg, Hertzberg basically took the work of Maslow, Abraham Maslow, and he said there are two things. One is hygiene agent and other is motivating agent. Okay. He said that hygiene agents are those things. If they are not present, if they are not present, you will become demotivated. If they are not present. But no matter how much you increase, they will not motivate you. For example, food. If you are hungry, if you don't eat, you get deep motivated. You don't have energy. Sleep, you don't have energy. The condition, the temperature, the speed of internet demotivates you. But if you had food, if you are slept well, if the internet is good, you don't even notice. Same goes with salary. If you have a bad salary, or in Gulf countries, it's kind of a normal practice. Sometimes you don't get salary for 2, 3 months. If you are not getting salary, you notice it. But if you are getting every month salary, eh, it's a hygiene agent. Okay. Motivating agent is something that gets you out of the bed. Why on Saturday? I yesterday cleared portfolio. I should be celebrating, taking a day off, maybe going on a beach, relaxing. What motivates me to get up in the morning, send you 5 messages, videos, all emails to all of the people, join session. What motivates me? It is recognition, giving back to the community, growth. I consider this thing as an opportunity that 70, 80 people sitting with me right now, hundreds of people watching on social medias, an opportunity to serve you guys. It gives me an opportunity that motivates. Okay. So why parents are motivated to take the action every single day? I keep on watching my wife. I keep on watching my mother, no matter how sick they are. In the morning, do the things for their children. Why? Because opportunity, growth, and things of those nature. Then there's a very famous theory, McGregor theory, theory X, and theory Y. Believer of theory X says that people don't like to work. You need to continuously monitor them. You need to put your eyes on them. If you don't put the eyes on them, they will not do the work. Theory X strongly believe you need to continuously monitor them. It is very critical. Okay. Theory Y says that give them a good environment and they will work into that way. Theory Y says that. Then we have a halo effect theory. Halo effect basically says that if we consider a person doing good job in one field, we will consider him he is good in other. That's why that when Ronaldo pick up the Coke and put it there, the stocks of Coke goes down. That's why we buy things that we consider other over people buy. For example, this smartwatch. I follow Grant Cardone a lot. I was in his training. I saw him wearing this smartwatch of Apple. I bought it. And now I feel this is the most useless purchase of my life. Like when I'm a fan of watches, right? I have a lot of collection, but I want watch whenever I want to wear it. I don't want whenever I want to wear a watch, it does not have a charging. I don't like it. Well, like maybe smartwatches are not for me. I'm a watch fan, but I like the watch, the types of watches, like maybe Cell or the one which works with nerves, right? That's my thing. But I bought it because I saw him. That's halo effect. 90% shopping or influencing market happen because of that, right? Then we have expectancy theory. Expectancy theory says that we will only take action if we expect there's a reward. All the religions are based on it. You guys are sitting here, 70 people in the live session and hundreds of on the social media. Why? You believe being in the session will help you in PMP, and getting PMP will help in your career. Put yes or no in the chat box. That's why you are sitting it. Expectancy theory. Okay. Then we have Mackland theory. Mackland said that people are either motivated by power, achievement, or affiliation. Okay. These are the things that people are motivated. So, in order to understand what motivates people, that is a part of emotional intelligence, which comes an important thing in communication. We need to understand these motivational theories. I always get a question. Will I get a question in the exam? Yes. Do I need to know the motivational theories? Yes. Everything that I'm going to cover today, you will get a question in the exam for that. Okay. You can get a question in the exam for that. So that's an important thing. So it's important to understand the cultural consideration whenever you are making a communication management plan, and political awareness. Like culture is how things are done. Political is basically who has the power into it. If you go to a different culture, there's always a culture shock. Like people wear different clothes, people eat different type of foods, right? So every culture is different. You need to see it and understand the culture to influence people. Okay. Then political awareness is who has a power, so that you can understand and use it. All are part of this communication plan. Please understand that as a project manager, 90% of your time is doing communication, managing stakeholder through communication. So once the communication management plan is done, all the communication in the project happen through it. Once the communication plan is done, okay, communication management plan, again, we will implement the communication plan, and in the execution, we will see, oh, I put it wrong place here. In planning, we make a communication plan. In execution, we will implement it. And monitoring and control, we'll see, are we meeting the communication requirement? If not, we will raise a change request. One change request is enough to update all the plans. Okay, let's read it from the PMP booklet. Quick revision. Leave the point, third last point, work performance data. I'll come to that later. For everyone who just joined, if you don't have my PMP booklet, it's a must to have, and you must read it like 2 times a week. It's the like this thing. Okay, quickly read it, please. Once you are done, put in the chat box done. Done, 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 done. Okay. Now comes the next topic, team. Okay. Team, or also known as resource. There are four type of resources: manpower, like human resources; machinery, machinery; money, dollars; and material. Manpower, machinery, money, material. Okay. Some people are messaging me, sir. They are asking few questions. Please stay at the session. At the end of the session, this session is so amazing. I have the entire day for you. Okay. Once we are done with all the content in the entire PMP, if you have any question, I will go through it. Okay. So hold your question. What we called in PMP, write it down. And when we are doing in meetings, parking lot. If you have any question that is right now cannot be answered, we put in the parking. Okay. So we are here discussing manpower. Okay. Human manpower. For that, we make resource management plan. We make a resource management plan. Resource management plan basically talk about how you are going to acquire the resources, like get the resources. Like for example, whenever I am starting a team, I need to know, I need to do SWOT analysis, strength, weaknesses, opportunity, threats. I need to identify skills, what skills are needed and what is their level. Let's say like level 1 is a new beginner or level 5 expert. Everyone will cost differently. I need to identify what skills are needed, what level is needed. Okay. So, for example, you are sitting here on Saturday with me because you consider me, let's say, from 1 to 5, 5 being like the extreme expert, at least let's say 4, 4.2, or 4.5. That's why you are sitting with me. If I was somebody who has never made even a single video and a new person, maybe you will not be sitting here, right? Yes or no? Put in the chat box, guys. You know, I like these interactions when you put yes or no. So, this is why I need to identify what type of skills needed. It will cost more. Okay. Identify the skills needed, which skills are needed. Then do I need a virtual team or do I need a physical team? Virtual team will have its own challenges and physical team will have their own. I need to see which type of team I need, virtual or physical, and manage it accordingly. You see, virtual, I cannot see you. I cannot. Okay. I cannot look at your eyes. 90% people have turned the videos off, and people on YouTube and other medias, I cannot see you. But let's say if we were in the conference room and there were hundreds of people, I can go to anyone. I can see your eyes. And I'm a person who gets energy from you guys. So that's very important for me. So I need to see virtual team, physical. But physical team, if we go, we need to arrange their transportation, food, accommodation, cultural challenges, religious challenges. For example, if your team consists of people who are Muslim, who are Christians, who are Hindus, and other religion, you need to arrange a mosque. You need to arrange a church. Arrange, uh, sorry, guys. Uh, whatever. You need to arrange all the resources that they need to go for prayer, right? They need to go to. Then you need to manage different kind of foods. These are a reality of life, right? For example, I was working in a project and there we had all different cultural, religious people. We had a kitchen in which those people who want to drink, they go. Those people who don't want to drink, they have that, right? Everyone, one was a common room, everyone eat food there. But if someone wants to drink, then they have to go to a different. Make sense? This was a challenge. It took cost, it took years, it took like things like that. With the virtual, it's not challenge. But with the physical, the productivity was 10 times. The cost was there. So you need to identify and put it into your resource management plan. Write down in your notes whenever there's a communication problem, always doing co-location for globally dispersed team for one time is very important. So co-location is always one of the biggest thing. And then once these thing is decided, I make team charter. Team charter is also known as working agreements. Team charter is also known as social contract. It's basically agreement which team will follow how they want to progress. It's a contract which they are going to follow. Team charter is made by initially project manager initially, but eventually it will be made by team itself. Okay, team make it. It's a team charter. So if the question says ideally who should make it, ideally team should make it. Initially project manager does. Okay, team charter has ground rules. Ground rules are very important. Working agreements, things of those nature. For example, I just shared one ground rules to you that we will discuss all the question at the end. One of the ground rule I'm gonna try to figure out that try to finish the entire PMP in 2 to 3 hours. 2 hours is very hard, but try to do it in 2 to 3 hours so that you can get cover it into the minimum possible time. One of the ground rule is that I want everyone to behave. These are the ground rules. Then what is the vision here? Vision, we want to come do the PMP summary. What values we are gonna follow, right? If a conflict is there, how we are gonna handle the conflict? We'll discuss conflict management in a minute. How do we understand conflict? How do we take a decision? Like we have Roman voting, we have fist of five, agree, disagree, then agree, disagree, don't care. Then other voting techniques there. These must be mentioned in the team chart. Okay. Team charter can be a part of a resource management plan, but it is normally a separate document. Then we have a resource calendar. This is, it shows when the dates, their dates, when those resources will be available. Resource calendar, when the resources will be available. Then you have a RESI matrix. Who is responsible? Who is accountable? Whom to consult? Whom to inform? Responsible is the one who is doing. Accountable is the one whose signs are there. He's at the end of the day, he's gonna be asked is done or not done. Consult, talk to him. Inform, maybe FYI. Okay. Some organization only use responsibility part and we get responsibility assignment metrics. Responsibility assignment metrics in there. Okay. So all these things are happening when you are acquiring the resources. Now, once you have acquired the resources are here. You need to develop them. Part of resource management plan. Developing mean identifying training requirement, training need analysis. What are the training requirement of the project managers? What do they need? What they need? Identify training requirements. You identify training requirements. You provide them the training. Now, training can be, you can provide, or you can hire external trainer, you can do pairing, someone else from the team can provide the training. Whatever the types of training is there, you provide the training, right? You provide down the training. Once training is provided, you measure the training outcomes. Always measure the training outcomes. Measure training outcomes. You provide the training, you measure training outcomes, and sometimes you also provide certifications, just to give them like, okay, we got something as a tangible. And throughout the project, you keep on identifying it. This is a throughout the project. Whenever a training need is there, you identify a resource lacks training, you provide down the training. This is process. At the start, maybe the entire need training on one subject, but as you move forward, everyone needs that training. That is why I build my success coaching system. Na? Like throughout in the 6 days in the group program, like everything which I'm gonna cover right now in 2 hours, we take 6 days to complete it. Now you are drinking from the hose directly. But you know that we go, one topic takes 2 to 3 hours. We take the because that was the start of it. Now, as you move forward, we have coaching calls. We do one by one questions, identify the training involved into that. Training need assessment is the job of the project manager. It is your job. Okay, you develop them, you acquire them, you develop them, then you manage those things. Now, when we talk about manage, there are two things. We need to handle the conflict. As a conflict, whenever you are handling any conflict, you need to act like a coach and be a servant leader. What is a servant leader? Servant leader is like a mother or father who basically always there, identify the team's training need, provide them the food, water, shelter, shield them from any problems, always there for the most important thing, they listen to them. Okay. So you are a servant leader there. Okay. I will go into the leadership style in a minute also. How do you manage a conflict? First, you identify stage of conflict. There are 5 stages. Put in the chat box. What are the 5 stages? Stages of conflict. Put in the chat box 5 stages of conflict. Immediately. Quick, guys, quick. Put in the chat box. YouTube people also. What are the 5 stages of conflict? I'm looking at YouTube right now. Joy, Gaurav, put in the chat box. People at LinkedIn. I see a lot of people at LinkedIn. Please put, you also put. Good audience at Facebook. Cool. Also put in the chat box. Okay. Okay. So there are 5 stages of conflict. Stage one is problem to solve. Here, the team is discussing, the language is open, they are trying to solve a problem. Project manager does not interfere at this stage. He let the team solve the conflict themselves. If it is not handled, acha guys, very important. Normally in the 2 3 hours, when I'm speaking from my this shuru mic, sometime my voice get lost. And if my voice get lost, please unmute yourself and tell me I am unable to hear. Okay, so I would know that. Stage one is problem to solve. If it is not solved here, if team is unable to solve, then you get to disagreement. Stage three is contest. Stage four is crusade. Crusade means group thinking here. Stage five is world war, also known as intraceable situation. Here, when the team is at world war, separate them. Let the problem to be cooled down. It's a very important thing. Let the problem to be cooled down. Otherwise, that problem will not be able to be solved. You need to let it cool down. When it becomes a group thinking, okay, you need to use a diplomacy, break the group thing. When there's a contest is always win lose. In order for me to win, you need to lose. No, I need to change the mentality. I need to set the mentality. It's not about you. It's about everybody here. We are working here for the project. Then when it comes to disagreement, set a vision so that they can go back to the problem solving. Once we identify the conflict level, and we know that conflicts are not bad, they can happen because of disagreement, priority, communication breakdown, whatever the reason is, identify the communication conflict stage, and then I use one of the conflict management techniques. One of the conflict management techniques. Here, I care for other more. Here, I care for myself more. Okay. If I care for other more, okay, as well as for me, I will always try to go win-win. If I don't care for me and don't care for them, I will go for lose-win. If I care more for me and I don't care about them, I go for win-lose. Here, lose-win. Whenever I want a win-win situation, I always try to do problem solving. Let's discuss the problem openly and solve it. Collaborate with each other. Sit together. Even confront. Okay, I need to confront the problem. We need to confront it together. Forcing is a very important thing. Sometimes you don't have a time for conflict. You cannot resolve all the conflict all the time. You need to force the solution. Okay, this is also called as directive. When you are talking to your boss and you have to accommodate, it's a lose accommodate something. Or sometimes you just don't have time to handle the conflict. You discuss the conflict and you said we'll do it later. Important thing in forcing, I solve it myself. In smoothing, I talk to them. I talk to them. They say we'll discuss it later. Lose lose, avoid the problem or withdraw. So here you don't even talk to the people. You just run away from the conflict, withdraw to the out thing. Okay. Compromising is something that is used a lot in the world of project management. You have a stance, both people move a little bit from their stance. That is compromise. All these techniques are important, are needed throughout the project, are needed throughout the project. As a project manager, you need to understand one thing: 90% of the time, people know they are wrong. They admit it or not. What they want their opinion to be heard. This is the 90% of the time. You need to give them attention. You need to give them at importance. You need to use active listening, emotional intelligence to manage most of your conflict. Okay. So as a project manager, you are mostly a situational leader, changing according to the situation. But few leadership style is important. We discuss servant leadership, that you are a servant leader who values the team more, who identify that team members training need, who look at that what team members need and provide them. Okay. A servant leader also build T type leadership. Those people who have in-depth knowledge of one domain, in-depth knowledge of one domain, and as well as wide knowledge of other domains. It is useful if one team member leave single point of failure, we avoid that. Okay. We, in order to avoid the single point of failure, we use T-type leadership and it is used a lot. Okay. It is used, it's your job to identify the training need and build a T-type leader. Then sometime we have charismatic leader. Charismatic leadership is also a one-man leadership game. Arun, I'm also making you co-host because I am adding all the people co-host. Okay. Because you are also co-host. So charismatic leader. Charismatic leader is a one-man show. One person who is dominating the entire thing. Charismatic leadership style. Okay. Then you have transactional leadership. Transactional leadership, you pay something, you get that thing. You did a good job, you get a reward. You don't do it, bye bye. Transformational leadership. Transformational leadership is that you take a person from A, you identify, you change their entire life. You change their entire life. Coach, mentor, or those people who have changed the community. Like back at home, we had a transformation leader, Idi. He made an ambulance and dedicated all his life for that transformation. Nelson Mandela is considered as a transformational leader for South Africa, for the people, for the black community there. He changed their life. Martin Luther King is considered as a transformation, and there are many examples. Okay. Then then we have directive type of leader. Directive type of leader is basically focus on the work and only give direction. Then we have less is fire. I hope I'm spelling it right. Less is fire is absent father. This is especially useful when the team is groomed, team knows how to do the task. You select the team, give them the task and sit aside. They do their thing. They solve the problem themselves. They do everything themselves. These are the type of the leadership you may get a question into that. So Aslam Saab, you were asking me, I did it leadership for you. So Tuckman ladder is another uh, theory also known as stages of team. I'm going to summarize the entire topic of team now, what we discussed with this. On y-axis, I put productivity. On x-axis, I put team. Oh, I put time, sorry. So when the team comes at the start, it is considered a forming stage. The team is just new. Okay. So you make a team charter for them. You understand their requirement. You are giving them direction. Do this, do that. So you are more at a directive in nature. When the team starts growing, they start having conflict. I called it as a storming stage. Okay, storming is that now we're having conflict. Now the productivity decrease. You need to use active listening, emotional intelligence, and handle conflict here. Very critical stage. If you handle conflict good, it moved to a norming stage. Now you start understanding habits of team, how they are doing. And if it is handled properly, we reach to the ideal stage. Here you are acting as a coach, here more of a mentor, so you are or a supporting. Here you you delegate the task, it's more of a less is fire here. Okay. And finally the team when leave adjourning. So it's kind of a cyclic thing, forming, storming, norming, performing, adjourning. Everyone wants to reach at this stage. That is one of the reason, especially in the projectized organization, when a new project come, project manager wants his all team. And that is one of the reason in the big organization, even there is no project, they still give people long leaves. They want them to come back because it's very costly to build that team. Okay, a very critical thing. Whenever a team member leaves and a new team member comes, okay, if even if you we are here, we go back to the forming stage. We go back to the forming stage even with 1% addition. Okay, so that's everything you need to know about the team topic. G, please read. Remaining 65 people, everyone put in the chat box now that you are done. Okay, let's go back to that. Now I'm gonna go with Agile. Now the three plans are made. We want to see which type of life cycle we want. Okay, we want to see which type of life cycle we want. Agile. So Agile consists of basically, before I go to Agile, we need to see what are the life cycles there. Okay, what are the four life cycle? Here, scope is fixed. As we move here, scope is variable. Here, you have single delivery. Here, you have multiple delivery. When scope is fixed and you have single delivery, we have predictive life cycle. That is called predictive life cycle. Okay, where it is also called as traditional waterfall. Example is bridges, houses. But you want multiple deliveries, we get incremental life cycle. Parts. Okay, parts. That is an e-movies or e-learning, movies. multiple things comes as part, incremental. And where you say, okay, I want the single delivery, like designs, you show to the customer, they change it, and you keep on doing that. That is called iterative life cycle. Agile is kind of a combination of iterative and incremental. Everything changes in it. Okay. Like we just, I have iPhone 15 Pro Max, right? And I bought iPhone 16 for my wife. So both has uh, iOS 18. My iPhone just got updated. When I bought it, it did not had that. And later this month, later October, I'm gonna get AI in it, right? So that is gonna be updated that. So that is continuously updating and coming in parts. That is agile software. All these three things, all these things, incremental, agile, iterative, they are called as change driven or adaptive. This is called plan driven. Okay. Then we also say that all the projects in the world, they are basically hybrid project. They are hybrid project. Hybrid is a combination of predictive and agile. Okay. Let's discuss what agile is. I always love to say agile is a mindset. Mindset consists of four values. The first value, the four pillar of agile. For customer collaboration, I want to collaborate with the customer over contract negotiation. Whatever the customer want, that is more important than the contract that we have. Okay, guys, put in the four. Everybody, put the four values in the chat box. I want to these four values you must remember: customer collaboration over contract negotiation. I want to help provide him the customer. What does the customer want? Respond to change over following plan. Okay, plan is critical, plan is important, but I want to change over following a plan. Okay. And whatever gets delivered, it's working software, like something that is working, the minimum viable product. Agile is a big believer of that, that we want to have a minimum viable product, a small delivery. Okay. Minimum viable product, working software over discussion like comprehensive documentation. We don't want that. I don't want comprehensive documentation. I want working software. And finally, team is very important. Their interaction is very important. So individual and their interaction over processes and tool. Yes, processes are important. Yes, tools are important. But how individual react with each other, how individual work with each other, that is more critical. These four values are the heart and soul of Agile. Then we get 12 principles. Okay. Those 12 principles are actually the extension of these values. Like get a incremental delivery, get the focus on quality. For quality, we daily have daily stand up. That's a 15-minute meeting, same time, same location. 15 minutes we discuss how we can improve. That is the focus of one of the principle. Then retrospective. At regular interval, the team sit together. We want to improve ourselves. We have in Scrum sprint retrospective, that how we are improving ourselves. Very critical. Sprint retrospective. Then we want to use Pareto principle, 28 principle, 2080 principle, simplicity, art of maximizing not work done. Like try to deliver as soon as possible, but list down what is not important there, right? These are the 12 principles. You don't need to memorize, understanding them, very important. I think that is, I continuously get a question about it. Progressive elaboration versus rolling wave planning. In Agile, we use rolling wave or adaptive planning. Both means the same thing. Both means you plan at high level, and as you move forward, you will plan it in detail. You plan at a high level, and as you move forward, you will plan it in detail. That is rolling wave. That is progressive elaboration or rolling web. Both means the same thing. The only difference is this: in progressive elaboration, we use plans like we made a stakeholder plan. First, we only had template. As we move forward, it will have strategy. We made a communication plan. We will keep on filling progressive elaboration. In agile or in activities level, we use rolling web planning. But for PMP perspective, don't get confused into it. Understanding is important. You can say this is more used in the plans, this is used at activity level or in agile mode. Okay. So when I talk about this rolling wave planning, we plan at high level. First, we make the entire roadmap, what will happen from January to December, high level. Then I plan it in detail. I divide it into release. You can say quarterly release. Then I divide it into sprint. What is sprint? Sprint or iteration is 1 to 4 week, normally 2 weeks. Sprint and iteration are the both use name. Sprint or iterations, I divide it into equal sprints, the project. Then we have daily stand-ups to plan. So as we move forward, we are planning it in more detail in Agile. Okay. Agile is a kind of an umbrella which my drawing is horrible, which has multiple methodology in it, like Scrum, Kanban, XP, Lean, DSDM, all follow 4 values, 12 principle, and this rolling wave planning. But in PMP exam, Scrum is mostly used. Understanding about Kanban board is more important. Okay, so Scrum is only used, so we'll go with the Scrum now. Scrum is a project management. What happens here? Just 1 second. Why my screen is stopped? Just 1 second. For all the co-hosts, don't disturb the screen, please. Okay. Guys, can you see my screen now? Put something in the chat box. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, thank you. Scrum. So Scrum basically starts, of course, with architectural spike. Okay. Once we have product backlog, we check proof of concept. Ali Khan, please don't write on my board. Please don't write on my board. Nobody writes there. Architectural spike. Otherwise, I have to shut down that. Somebody only one participant. Okay. Architectural spike is basically proof of concept where once we have user stories, we have made the product backlog, we use the proof of concept that can we do this thing or can we not do that. And your Scrum or your Agile project starts with architectural spike and end with hardening sprint. Hardening sprint. This architectural spike is called sprint 0. Hardening sprint is called sprint H. Means what does sprint H actually means? Sprint H means before giving it to the customer, we do the final inspection. Hardening sprint. Like for example, if you are making pizza, a proof of concept will be, do I have the ingredients? Do I have the tools to make it? Okay. And hardening sprint is before giving the customer, I do final check. Okay, it is good to go. Okay. The entire things will happen in between. What will happen? First, you have sprint planning. Okay. The entire scrum, 1 to 4 weeks, normally 2 weeks. Okay. Sprint planning, where from prioritized product backlog. What is product backlog? Product backlog is list of prioritized user stories. Of prioritized user stories. User stories are requirements. So list of prioritized user stories selected by collected by product owner, who is the voice of customer. Product owner collect the user stories from the customers, from the stakeholder, put in the product backlog, then prioritized using prioritization technique like Moscow, must have, should have, could likely to have, 100 points, dot voting. He prioritized the product backlog by high value and with the help of team by high risk. So product backlog is prioritized by high value, high risk. Then team take the product backlog and estimate how many story points each user story have. What is story points? Story points is basically how much effort it will require to complete the user story. We used ideal odds, how much time it will take. We use affinity estimation like categorization, small size, medium size, large, Excel, which type of estimation we will use. And we will use Fibonacci series 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. Which type of, what will be the estimation there, how much story point will be there. And to get the consensus among the team, we will use planning pokers where the team sit aside in the circle and we discuss how much time it will take for that, or wideband Delphi. I know for some people who are new, like some batch 10 students are here. I batch 10 students are here, and many people who are watching live, they are getting, oh, this is too much content. This is the content of 2 weeks. So uh, try to warm up your brain with me and try to get as much notes as you can. And at the end of the session, whatever is confusing, we will be there. And for those who are not my students, who have not joined the program, from 18th of October, I'll go into depth of that. Okay, so now I have collected the user story. I now I have collected the user story. I have prioritized the user stories. Okay. Now what I will do, I will put them all in the product backlog. From product backlog, depending upon the velocity, estimated velocity, that is how much story points we can do in one sprint. Let's say sprint is 2 weeks. How much work we can do in one sprint? Okay. In one sprint, we put it in the sprint backlog. Okay, Aslam sir. It's good. That is good. Okay, so we selected the work from product backlog and we'll may put in the sprint backlog. We'll put in the sprint backlog and we'll get a sprint goal, what we should do. Okay, and that is communicated to the uh, product owner, sponsor, etc. etc. Then we do daily stand up. What are the 3 questions of daily stand up? Please put in the chat box. It's a 15-minute, same time, same location, 3 questions. It's a progress sharing meeting. There is no discussion, detailed discussion, only progress sharing meeting. So Nidya, I don't see you typing. Type 3 questions in that. What you did yesterday, what you are going to do today, and is there any problem there? As I said, it's a progress sharing meeting. We use information radiators in it. Since Agile does not like plans, we use information radiators in it. We use burn up chart, right? Burn up chart to see where the progress is moving. We see burn down chart. Okay. Burn up chart shows how much work has been done. Burn up shows how much work has been done. Okay. Then we'll make burn down. Burn down shows how much work is remaining. Guys, I do request these information radiators, burn up, burn down, and we'll discuss 2 more. Please make it your hand. If you want to go in detail of burn up, burn down chart, I just shared one video of 18 minutes of information radiator. Remind me if you want, I'll send it in the group again that. Burn up chart, burn down chart, you must know if the burn down chart is downside, it's a good thing. If it's a upside, it's a bad thing. Exam can ask you, where is SPI 1 less than 1, SPI greater than 1? Both are progress sharing thing. Burn up shows how much work is done. Burn down shows how much work is remaining. Then we have task board that only shows you the progress. Where do you send? Task board, okay, where the progress is there. And we had Kanban board. Kanban board is basically a board which will show work in progress. Like it limits the work in progress so that the flow can be built. We want in Kanban board that the work never stops, one by one, one by one, continuously there. So that's why we identify the bottleneck and we limit the work in progress. For example, answer me which of them is a bottleneck. Okay, I will make, and you can get this question in the exam. Which of them is a bottleneck? Which of them is a bottleneck? G, which of them is a bottleneck? Let's say A, B, C, D. Somewhat Snigdhya, why it would be C here? Not at all. It's B. No, Sunil, no. Bottleneck is where we cannot do anything more. Here we have five and four are there. Still we can do one more. Here two are there, we cannot even move. Here four are there, three is there. Here's two or more, one is there. Okay. So bottleneck is B, where you are stuck. That is bottleneck. Okay. B is stopping the work. One more thing that is used in Agile is lead time. Lead time is time when a user story was requested to the time it is completed. It is lead time. We have cycle time when a user story was team started working on it and it get completed. So cycle time is always less than lead time. In value stream mapping, we want to reduce both lead time. Okay, when the sprint gets over, when how do we know sprint is over? Time is over. That's how. The 2 weeks are over. So we have sprint review. Okay, we have sprint review. It consists of two part: demo, where product owner, client, they come, we show them what is done. Okay. In Agile, in Scrum, we will only show those things which are 100% completed. How I do know that something is 100% completed? I will have a checklist to check that my task is completed or not. That is called definition of done. My task will show I have done every single thing, definition of done. If I feel that, okay, this is completed, I will show to the client. Otherwise, it will go back to the product backlog. Anything that is incompleted goes back to the product backlog. When I feel it is 100% completed, I client check it according to his checklist. He has a checklist that is called acceptance criteria. He will check it according to his checklist. And if he feels goes into product increment. If client accept it, it goes into product increment. Product increment. If client reject, if it is not completed, or if the client give new user stories, all goes into product backlog. For every sprint, there is a new sprint backlog. It goes back to product backlog. And after demo session, we will have, and that is a part of sprint review, grooming session. Grooming means reprioritization of product backlog. Reprioritization of a product backlog. Okay. Reprioritization of a product backlog. Scrum Master, development team, and product owner are all there with the client, and we reprioritize the product backlog and we get a updated product backlog for the next sprint. Once sprint review is done, we will have a lesson learned meeting that is called sprint retrospective. It is a 5 stages meeting. Set the stage, gather data, generate insight, decide what to do, and close the retrospective. The most important is step 3, generate insights. That is a lesson learned thing. Please understand, in Scrum, there are 5 events: sprint, sprint planning, daily stand-up, sprint review, sprint retrospective. There are 3 documents, 3 artifacts, most important artifact: product backlog, list of all requirements, sprint backlog, list of things to do in this sprint, and product increment. Okay. We have 3 roles. Product owner is the voice of customer. He collect the user story. He decide what is the most important thing right now. Team, who is a cross-functional team, independent, self-organized, self-emerging team, right? They decide what to do, like how much effort it will take, how much time it will take. Scrum Master, if one gear is product owner, the other gear is a team. Scrum Master is like a grease in between who makes sure everything works into that way. Okay. So he's present in every single team. If there's a conflict about what is important, product owner decides. If it's a conflict, how much time it will take, team member will decide. Okay, that is a very important thing. In Agile, everything happens in time box. So time is very critical here. We work in a test driven development so that we are following the time into that. And that's Agile for you, high level Agile. If you know that Agile, you are good to go for your PMP exam. Okay. For those who know which document is this is my PMP booklet. Okay. If you are my student, ask me, I'll send you the review part. If you're not my student, you can buy it. Okay, guys, read it till sprint review. Actually, read it till daily stand up. Then I will move it down. Read it till daily stand up. Kashif is saying it's not showing. Is it showing to you guys or not? Kashif, you have a problem, brother. Done, 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 done. Okay. Guys, I'm giving 1 more minute, then I have to move forward. And by the way, what we have covered as of now, if you understand that, that is your 90% of PMP exam. 90%. Today, 7 students cleared. I'm just talking about today. And I have recorded 5 of the success journeys already. Right? I recorded Rafia, I recorded Iftikhar, Arun, and one more. I need to check. So all said the same thing. So now the next will be risk. Okay. Life is risky. So for in order to handle the life risk, we are going to make, let's use red pen, red color. Risk. In risk, first you make a risk management plan. That gets the approval of management. Okay. You define the organizational risk tolerance. Is the organization risk averse, risk seeker, risk neutral? What is the organization? Okay. What is the organization? Right? Is it risk seeker? Risk seeker want to take the risk. Risk averse, they run away from the risk. Or they are risk neutral. They calculate positive and negative impact of the risk and then they go for it. What is the risk attitude for the organization? Okay. What is the range? How much they are gonna do? We calculate that the overall risk exposure when the organization risk itself is probability into impact. How much risk is a high risk? How much risk is a low risk? So we discuss that, we define that in the risk management plan. Every organization has a different definition of high risk, medium risk, or low risk. Once your risk management plan is done, your risk management plan is made, then you identify the risk and put them into the risk register. We follow the same sequence of identifying the risk as we used for stakeholder. You talk to the expert, you used focus group, facilitated workshop, OPS, EEF, you look at the project documents. Here you will use assumption log a lot. Everything in assumption log is a risk because risk is any event that may or may not happen. And if it happened, it can be of a positive impact, opportunity, or negative impact, threat. Assumption log will have all the negative thing happens in the starting. We identify them. Assumption log is there. Then you also use SWOT analysis, strength, weakness, opportunity, threat. We use PESTEL to identify all the risk political, economical, social, technical, legal, environmental. You identify all the risk, you put the risk in the risk register. Once you have put the risk in the risk register, now once risk, the first step is make risk management plan. You have identified the risk, that is done, you put in the risk register. Now we prioritize the risk. We prioritize the risk using qualitative risk. Okay. Like you have a risk matrix probability and impact. We will say, okay, this is a low risk, this is a medium risk, this is a high risk. Now, what does high mean? What does low mean? Your organization decide. Okay, maybe for your organization, high risk may be mm, 1 million, or maybe high risk is $100,000 or $1,000. If you are a startup company, college graduates or people in college, let's say from India or Pakistan, they are making a company. $100 is a very big risk for them. They don't have money, right? They don't have money. So it depends on that thing. So 90% organization only do qualitative risk assessment. If your organization want to do quantitative risk assessment, we have various risk tool. One of them is sensitivity analysis, also known as tornado analysis. By the way, I got a question in portfolio exam about sensitivity analysis. It's very huge in portfolio management. I hope I got right. Since I passed the exam, I hope I got right. Okay. Sensitivity analysis. How one event happen, they will impact the project. Let's say rain happen on construction site. Which things will be most effective? Which things will be least impacted? We get or we get sensitivity analysis. We use a lot Monte Carlo analysis, which is actually simulation where we make S curve. We identify what is the probability of achieving success. Okay. If we apply, let's say we put cost, there is probability 10%, 20, 50, 60. Here it is cost 1 million, 5 million, 10 million. If I spend 15 million, so I get almost 70% probability here. So that probability distribution curve you get. You will not be probably need to a point on the graph, but if you get a question or a distribution curve or Monte Carlo analysis enough. Okay. Then expected monetary value. You can get a question for this there. Risk is probability into impact. Let's say you get a question. The risk is probability is 10% and it's a positive risk of $100. What is impact? What is the expected monetary value? That is risk. Calculate it immediately, guys. And if it's a threat, which is a negative risk, it has 50% probability and impact of $1,000. Now, what will be the expected monetary value? Whatever the answer becomes, like it will be 500, it will be negative risk. Okay, expected money because it's a threat. It will take money from your pocket. Then there's an extension where you compare decision tree can be used for this thing. The purpose is once you have ranked the risk qualitatively and quantitatively, you have ranked them. We have responses for negative and positive. Negative is avoid. You make the probability zero or impact. You don't do the thing at all. You change the plan. Okay, don't do that. Make the probability or impact zero. Exploit is the most positive term in PMP. Most positive term in PMP. Exploiting. Okay, exploiting is the most positive term in project management. Then, if you cannot avoid, you mitigate the risk, decrease the probability or impact. Enhance, when you cannot increase probability and impact, you increase one of them. You transfer the risk by buying insurance or you share it the opportunity with someone else. If the risk is more than your tolerance, you escalate the risk. They are proactive risk. You identify them, immediately put into that way. There is no risk trigger honor for this thing. But majority of the risk management happen when you accept the risk. Okay, the risk can happen, but you make a plan, active acceptance. You make a contingency plan, you set a risk owner. If a trigger happen, the risk owner will implement the contingency plan. If the contingency plan fail, then I also have a fallback plan. Okay. If plan A fail, we have a plan B to handle that. Contingency plan and fallback plan. We also have passive acceptance. We identify the risk. We don't do anything. We don't do anything for them. We treat those things as issue. Issue is anything that is bad and it has happened. We put the issue into the issue log. Whenever a bad thing happen, the first thing is you put in the issue log. For anything to be issue, it has happened and it has no plan. Okay, it's a very important thing. You put in the issue log, you do the root cause analysis, why it was not identified, you raise a change request to handle it, and then you update the issue log. Okay, when a risk happen, you implement, when a trigger happen, you put the risk response for that, you implement the risk response for that, and then you update the risk register. Okay, so let me put it this: a trigger happen, risk owner implemented contingency plan that failed. He put fallback plan, and then he updated risk register. Risk. Okay. Your PMI Xfinity, the PMI or Chat GPT is wrong on this thing. So maybe they will upgrade it and they will improve on it. If you ask it, they'll say update issue log. Why? You will update risk register. Okay. Then you will check residual risk, like small risk that is left, or secondary risk. One more time, anything which you identified before happening and make a plan, you put in the risk register. Throughout the project, you identify the risk and put the risk in the risk register. That's a continuous effort. You don't need a change request for that. Okay. If any plan is affected later on when you're making risk response, then you make it into that way. We have risk review meeting in which we check what risk has happened, what risk can happen in future. You check your reserve analysis, risk review meeting, and you generate a risk report. That's a summary report that gives you what has happened in the past week, what can happen now. That's the quick summary of risk. Okay, here you go, please. Guys, only 5 people have commented. When you comment, then I know that you have read it. Please, we need to read issue also. Okay, I'm going up. One of the student messaged me, sir, you are live on YouTube. People will take screenshot of this book. And that's okay. It's good. Anything that helps them. Please put in the chat box when issue is done. Put issue done. Okay. Okay. So now we will talk about three baselines. Then we will discuss quality procurement, and then we will discuss closing. And that's it. We are going good. Yeah, we will be probably 30-minute overtime. Is that okay to you? Maybe 30-minute more than 2 hours. Is that fine to you? I hope so. Because I promised 2 hours. So maybe a little bit more. Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna go scope schedule cost. So you see, we already discussed this thing. This is called product life cycle. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna collect the product requirement, and then I'm gonna using plan, I'm gonna separate it. Three baselines. First, using requirement management plan, I will collect the requirements. Which tools will be used to collect the requirements? Again, we'll ask the expert. We'll use focus group. We'll make prototype. We will have OPS, EF. We can use context diagram. We'll collect all the requirements of the entire product. We collect all the requirements for the entire product, and we will put it into requirement traceability matrix. We collected the requirement and put it into the requirement traceability matrix. Requirement traceability matrix will have a linkage from start till end. What the requirements are, what their purpose is, etc., etc. Who give every single detail will be in that file. It is more of an Excel file that has all the details in it. Requirement traceability matrix. Okay. We also make requirement documentation, which actually classify the requirement. Is it a organizational requirement? Is it a social requirement? What type of requirement is it? That is requirement documentation. Will look for that thing. Okay. So you have requirement documentation and requirement traceability matrix. I have collected the entire product requirement. What I will do using scope management plan, I will put a scope filter on it. All the requirements are there. I'll put a scope filter, and here I got this project requirement. I call them project scope statement. I call them as a project scope statement. Okay. Now it is a document that has every single requirement of your project. Every single requirement of project is in the project scope statement. Okay. Then using work breakdown structure, I will decompose the work into small manageable part. WBS will divide the work into small manageable parts. Okay. This smallest part is called work package. This highest part is called control account. I will give them the number. These numbers are called as code of account. Okay. These numbers are called as code of account. 1.2 further divided into 1.2.21, 1.2.2.2. And these number are called code of account. In order to understand this, what does this work package have, or what does this 1.2.2 means? We have a work breakdown structure dictionary, which explains every single thing you need to know about this code of account. This project scope statement, code of account, WBS, WBS dictionary. This combine is called as scope baseline. It goes to the sponsor, and now your scope. Okay, if someone wants to add something in your project, they need to raise a change request, go to a proper change control. procedure. Otherwise, scope cannot be changed. Get scope baseline. We avoid scope creeping if someone tries to add into the project without going to change control procedure. And we don't like gold plating, giving more than what was agreed. Okay. For example, I agreed with you, we'll cover in 2 hours, so I'm giving more time, but still I'm giving you gold plating, more time, but I still ask you. You are my change control board. I ask you when you approved it, and I said, okay, let's continue. Otherwise, if you have said it no, I would summarize in 5 minutes, right? But I wanted to give gold plating. We always have change control procedures there. Once your scope baseline is done, what we do using schedule management plan, we divide or decompose the work package further. We get activity list, activity A, B, C, activity attributes that defines what the relationship are there, what dependencies are. Like there are 4 dependencies. It can be internal dependency, it can be external dependency, it can be mandatory, it can be discretionary. What are the dependencies? And what are the milestone here? You divide the work package, you get it. You see, there are 4 type of relationship between the activities. Let's say activity A and B. This is coming before. It's a predecessor activity. This is coming later. It's a successor activity. You can have finish to start. Okay. One finish, the other start. You can have start to start. You can have finish to finish, or you can have start to finish. This is kind of a more overlapping into that. These are the 4 type of relationship we have in the activities. And then if activity gets delay, it lagged, it actually increase the schedule. If you leaded the activity, it it basically decrease your work schedule. For example, today 7 student cleared PMP. Out of 7, 3 were from batch 8, if I'm not wrong. They actually leaded their activity and cleared PMP in a month. Then I had a student, one I guess was from batch 5. So he took his time. Okay. Then I had a student who took training a year back. So he or she, they took their time and did it. Right. So everyone leaded or lagging the schedule according to their availability. One of the most critical part is the durations of the activity. We have 4 methods to calculate duration of the activity. Analogous, in which we estimate how much time it took in the past, and we use parametric, we use statistical relationship of the past. Then bottom up, in which we move from bottom to up and calculate it. It is least accurate, it is most accurate, and this is based on statistical relationship. We also have 3 point estimation. One is triangular distribution, optimistic, pessimistic, most likely, and the other is beta distribution, or also known as PERT. Optimistic 4, most likely, pessimistic divided by 6. You will get a question in the exam asking you calculate duration. If it is not mentioned, use beta distribution. Once we have all the details about the activity, we use network diagram to calculate critical path. Okay. D, E, F, and 4, 5. Calculate the critical path for me immediately, guys. 3. G, calculate the critical path. Which one is the critical path? E, F, A, D, E, F. Okay. 4, 5, 2, 3. 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 5, 10, 14. 4, 4 plus 8, 12. 12 plus 9, 21. 21 into 24. The longest path is called the critical. That's it. The difference between longest and non-longest is your float. Okay, is your float, how much it can float. This becomes your schedule baseline. Now it gets approved, you get your schedule baseline. It cannot be changed. This is your schedule baseline. If your sponsor says reduce the schedule, You use schedule compression techniques like crashing and fast tracking. Crashing is you add resources into it. When you add resources, as a result, cost increases, but your schedule can decrease. You can put more resources there. Fast tracking, where activities are in series, you make them in parallel. But this is a risky activity. Risky activity. Whenever money is not the problem, whenever the money is not the problem, okay, we will always do crashing. Important thing. Whenever the money is not a problem, we will always do crashing. Sometimes we need to optimize our resources. It is called resource optimization technique. You have resource smoothing and resource leveling. Resource leveling is basically you change your schedule according to the availability of resources. Of course, you need a change request here because your schedule baseline will be changed. You need a change request both for crashing and fast tracking. You change your schedule according to the availability of resources. That's resource leveling. But in resource smoothing, you say, hey, I'm not gonna change the schedule. I'm not gonna change the schedule. I'm gonna play in between. I'm gonna do crashing, fast tracking, or play in between the float. That is resource smoothing. Both help you to uh, optimize your resources. This is more effective, but it increases the schedule. Once you have that, and you made a cost management plan that defines how you are gonna use the money, which currency you are gonna use, who's gonna finance your project, okay, and also we define what is funding limit reconciliation. Funding limit reconciliation is basically instead of giving money at one go, you pay them parts. That is your funding limit reconciliation. You give them the money, you check it back, how much the money I have given, how I can recollect it, things of those nature. Then you make your cost baseline in the same way as you made schedule baseline. You calculated the duration, now you calculated the money, how much activity will take. But cost of activity plus contingency reserves. Remember, we identify the risk. That becomes your cost baseline. Your project budget is your cost baseline plus management reserve. This is the money which will be defined in the cost management plan, how much money you are going to set aside. Your management sent some money aside to handle any kind of unknown risk. Once you have made cost plan and schedule plan, now if you want to check how you are doing cost wise or schedule wise, schedule variance is basically I minus planned value. We also called it schedule performance index and value divided by plan value. It should be more than 1, minimum 0 or 1. It is good. If it is less than 1, it is bad thing. It should be positive. Okay. The good thing. If it is positive, you are ahead of schedule, negative behind schedule. Similarly, greater than 1 ahead of schedule, less than 1 behind schedule. We have cost variance. Similarly, what work you did and how much money you have spent. Cost performance index and value divided by actual cost. Greater than 1 is always a good thing. The complete budget is called budget at completion. But if your budget changes, you want to calculate a new budget, you use this formula. Okay. Management sometimes wants to know, can we complete the work? Yeah. Okay. This is very rare to come in the exam, but still, knowing that this is the formula for it can help us. TCPI is to complete performance index. Will we be able to complete the work in the budget we have? TCPI is funding is downside, work is upside. So less than 1 it means I have more money and less work, which is a good thing. Okay. I like to say TCPI is reverse of CPI. CPI is greater than 1 is a good thing. TCPI is less than 1 is a good thing. Inversely relationship. So that's your scope, schedule, and cost. Huh. So only quality and procurement left. Otherwise, I completed in. Okay, please read scope and schedule kindly. One cost done. Put in the chat box. Cost done. Okay. Procurement. So I'm buying something from outside from the market. Okay. Procurement. If I want to buy something from market, I did make or buy analysis. I decided source selection criteria. So I wanted to buy from someone on reference basis, on quality basis, whatever the basis is there. Okay, we buy on that. We make into that thing. Sometimes we also get independent estimates, like how much it will cost. Because if there is can be a monopoly in the market, so I want to get an expert judgment. What will be the cost of that? If my scope is fixed or my scope is variable, for fix, I have a firm fixed price contract. My scope is fixed, everything is fixed. I will pay you this thing, much this thing. If My scope is fixed, but I want him to complete it early. I will have fixed price incentive fee. Try to complete early and I'll give you some extra money. We also have fixed price, economic price adjustment contract, in which basically we pay depending, like the price can be changed depending on the inflation. Fixed price, economic price adjustment. If scope is variable, we have cost reimbursement, in which we are reimbursing the cost of the material plus their fixed fee. The first one is fixed fee. The second one is we pay the fixed fee, but if we want them to complete earlier, we pay them incentive, right? Or award fee. Award fee is when we find their work very good, we also pay them a little bit award fee. So award fee is especially useful when you like somebody's work. Award is not challengeable in the court, but incentive is. If you work, if your work is based on subscription model, time and material can work. It is beneficial as well as disadvantages to use time material. The benefit is that you pay what you get. The problem is that your requirements can change, right? You have a more risk into that. So you choose the contract according to your requirement. You make procurement statement of work. Please don't confuse it with the project statement of work. PSS was what you are going to do. Procurement statement of work, what you need from outside. Okay. You make that procurement statement of work, and once it get to the sellers, you have a bidder conference with them. You explain them the requirements, what is needed to everyone. Then they provide you their proposals. We do negotiation about the price, always quality, scope. We don't want project manager to be discussing uh, money part. There can be bribe. Once the contract is agreed, we get a contract or agreement. Please note, now everything will be done according to the contract of agreement. Acha, it's a normal practice in the organization. Before even the contract is signed, they will give you letter of intent, LOI, or some email. Okay, you can start the work. The purpose is that instead of getting the detailed contract, they give you their verbal approval, so you can start working in some way or another. Okay, so that is also an effective way to look into that. But everything, whatever you want to do, should be written in the contract. For example, if you want to do audit, audit is checking the effectiveness of the process. Okay, are they following right process, right steps? If you want to do audit, it must be written in the contract. However, whenever the deliverables get completed, you inspect those deliverables. When you inspect, if you agree them, okay, you pay them, contract is closed. Procurement is closed throughout the project. If you inspect them and you disagreed, there's a conflict, you try to get a win-win situation in the conflict so that both parties can give their inputs and things of those nature. But if you are unable to get win-win, try to do what is written in the contract. If the contract is silent on that, okay, then you try to get arbitrator or a mediator. If that fails, the final step is please go to the court. Okay. Please understand, we don't want to go to the court. Court, always only lawyers win, you never win. So we don't want to go to the court. Understanding procurement statement of work, contract types, how to handle the conflict, procurement management plan, and also procurement strategy is also a part of it, is helpful in this topic. Very quick, straightforward topic, not a complex. Don't expect to see many questions in the exam from this topic, but understanding is important. I specifically put quality in the end as compared to procurement because quality is more important. Please read this. Whenever I set ads on Instagram, I suffer this thing. Comment done. Okay, quality. The last major topic, then we will go for the closing, and then whatever the question answers you have, I have the entire day for you guys. I will be able to answer you. Quality. Okay, quality. Quality is what customer pays for it. Quality must be agreed with the customer. Okay. We plan the quality by making quality management plan. Quality management plan consists of two things. First, cost of quality. We set aside what the cost of quality will be. Cost of conformance, money spent to avoid failures, training cost, appraisal cost, destructive testing, non-destructive testing, cost of non-conformance, non-conformance rework, or warranty cost. For example, I'm doing a follow-up with you, coaching call with you, all those things. What I'm doing it, I'm setting a money aside. Na? My time is my money. I'm putting it on you guys. Cost of conformance to make sure that my deliverable, that is to get you PMP certified, is 100% right. Make sense? Cost of conformance. Okay, that is the part of quality plan. Very important. Of course, cost management plan will have the cost. Then you benchmark which standards you are going to follow. Like compare with somebody and make the standards it. Once the quality management plan is approved, we make quality metrics. Quality metrics is your KPI metrics like SPI, CPI, number of changes we measure throughout the project. So we have plan quality, manage quality, and control quality. Once you make the quality management plan, it is approved throughout the process, throughout the journey. You do audit of the process to make sure you are doing quality assurance right. Quality assurance is while the deliverable is being done, like cost of conformance you are putting, that things are done using checklist. Like checklist is a list of things you check, or check sheets, is it present in it or not. You use control chart, which actually says is the process within the control or outside the control. You use check sheets. Yes, no, count the defects. Checklist, tick, cross. Check sheet is counting. Control chart, is the process in control or not? Pareto principle, if the defects are there, you actually use 80-20 principles to identify which are the most critical defects I need to use. These tools are also used in control quality equally, but understanding them is important. Okay, so we did audit, discussed audit, inspection, checklist, check sheet, control chart, Pareto principle, 20-80 principle, fishbone diagram. That is called Ishikawa, YY, cause and effect. The purpose is you identify why the problem happened. Collecting the data using sampling or check sheet checklist. Then using Pareto chart, you put priority, which is the most important defect. For analysis, you identify what one or two reasons were there. Then using scatter diagram, you can identify is there any correlationship between them. Let's say you identify two reasons. Okay, you identify is there any correlation is X, how the Y will be affected. Okay, we will do that. Does that make sense to you guys or not? Let me explain you one more time. So let's say you you did an inspection, okay, using check sheets and checklist. Okay, you did inspection using checklist and check sheets. You took a sample. Okay, with the sample, now you have collected data. You can make a histogram, normal, frequency distribution, or Pareto. Now Pareto will give you what are the most important defects. Let's say there are 4 or 5 most important defects. You did a root cause analysis on it, identifying what the reason was in that defect. Now, let's say you identify two reasons. Two, is there any correlation between them? One variable is affecting other or not. You can also use design of X to see you make all other things same and just change one variable. Okay. I am trying to like put in a line so that you understand these 7 quality tools. Already know flowchart, you already know checklist, check sheets, Pareto principle, sampling, fishbone diagram, and you can get a question on them. Are you clear about these tools? They are important. It's practically impossible to get exam without any question in it. Practically impossible. Like you may get one question out of 180, or maybe put in the past, even for your project management life. Okay, it is very critical. Okay. Yeah, my voice is breaking, or is it something with Aslam sir? So I guess its job is done. It can do into that. There. Okay, is my voice okay now? Okay, let me make it one more time for you. What I was saying. Oh yeah, you go for inspection. You went to the site. You go for inspection. Everyone is with me. Can you visualize that? Whatever you do, okay. You used sampling technique. There were 100 deliverables. You checked 5 of them. You find some defective is using checklist and check sheet. You fill them. Okay. Now we have filled check sheet checklist. Everyone okay so far? Let's use fist of fire. Okay. Now we have collected them. We put on histogram just to mark the defects. Using Pareto chart, we see, okay, which 2 of them, let's say there are 20 defects, are most important. So far, all clear? Then using fishbone diagram, identified what is the reason of defect. Let's say I got 2 defects or 3 defects. Using scatter diagram, I plot them. What is the relationship between them? Correlationship. That's all tools of quality. Okay. I hope that story can help you remember next time. Okay. Acha ji. So now in control quality, once the deliverable is made, now the deliverable has been made. The team will inspect the deliverable according to the quality management plan. If they feel it is according to the quality management plan, we get verified deliverable. It's internal. Next step, client check it according to scope baseline. And if he says it's good, we get validated or accepted deliverable. Validated or accepted deliverable. This is called journey of deliverable. Now, this accepted deliverable, let's say the client, and then we get all the deliverables approved, final sign off, final sign off. Then we go to sponsor and ask the sponsor, can we close the project? Okay. Now we go towards closing. Please understand, there are 2 things in closing. That is unsuccessful. Unsuccessful can be we don't need it, the project again. Organization strategy changes. The project is too risky. It happened in COVID. We don't have money for the project. Whatever the reason is, our project is successful. In in both cases, we follow the same sequence. I go for approval from sponsor. Sponsor approved it. I start writing final report, check the benefit management plan, update OPS, uh, with lesson learn repository, lesson learn register, getting all the lesson learns to the project, update all project document, archive them, and release the team. We'll go to the booklet for those sections. Don't worry. All the closing sequence will go through that. Okay. It's not that important. Throughout the project, whenever there's a change, throughout the project, whenever there's a change, there are 2 ways change can happen. One is in the project change, other is in the one is in the project, and the other is product change. Whenever there's a project change, we use change management plan. We use change management plan. If there's a change in product, we use configuration management plan. What changes can be in the product? Version control. Version is changing, things of those nature. When we go for the change management, let's say that is the most important. Configuration is not that important. Only understand the change in the version control or configuration means change in the product. Change management follow this flow. Change management follow this flow. A change is put in the change request in the change log. It is officially raised. It goes to project manager. Project manager evaluate it. Do we need the change? He checks. He can reject it. No. Update the change log. Communicate according to communication plan. He feels yes, we need the change. He calculate the impact analysis. Impact analysis. How this change impact scope, schedule, cost, quality, everything. Then he sent the change control. Change control board evaluate. Do we need the change? No. We update the change log, communicate it. Yes, change is needed. We basically do update change log, communicate, and then we implement. Acha, this is the format that we use throughout the project. Anytime it also possible that customer says do this change, then project manager does not check it. He directly does the impact analysis and share the impact analysis first with the customer. Hey customer, you may have to pay more. Do you want to? Then he gives you change control. Okay, this is how we handle change in predictive or hybrid. In agile, all changes go to product owner. All changes, he put them into product backlog. He discuss with the client, groom the product backlog, and then all the changes are handled into that. Okay, all the changes are handled into that way. We started with need assessment, business case, benefit management plan. Then we discussed initiation, planning, execution, monitoring control, and closing. We also do transition activities so that operational team is ready. Okay, this is the entire project management for you. Okay, this is the entire project management. Please understand, project charter is made, then project management plan is made, which consists of 18 plans, which we discussed most of them. I do recommend you read that article one more time, or actually once a week, do read that. 18 plans, 33 document. Once project management plan is approved by change control board or sponsor, then we implement the work, we do the work. In monitoring and control, we check the work, raise the change request. Once deliverable is done, we do control quality where we get verified deliverable, and then through scope baseline, we check validated, accepted deliverable. Once they are accepted, we close the project. Throughout the project, we get we get multiple things, and we keep on moving into that. Okay, let's read the quality topic and closing and change request. Then we will discuss whatever the questions we have. Please, quality first. Okay, quality is done. Please read steps for handling change in the request, change request, and closing. Okay. By the way, the entire session that we did was based on this book, Summary of PMP in 2 hours. If you want to read this, if you are my student, just ping me. I need to find it. I'll send it to you. And if you are not my student, this is also available on Amazon. Okay. So you can also read that. Otherwise, PMP booklet is enough for you guys. Okay. So for those people who are not my student as of now, the batch is starting on 18th of October. For those who are my student, please recommend people to join the batch. I don't have to convince you guys. Gee, anyone has any question they would like to discuss? Anyone that is not clear? Anyone that is not clear? Any question? Anyone can raise their hand. Thank you, Aslam sir. What is the Scrum in India? Like, it's a framework, na? Dana, in Agile has multiple frameworks under it. Scrum is since he's uh, please put in the chat box all the question, Madhukar. You also. They are basically there are multiple frameworks that we use, and Scrum is one of them, right? So since they called a Scrum Master because the framework name is Scrum, he's kind of the everyone. Please put the question in the chat box. All they report to sponsor. There are three roles: Scrum Master, Product Owner, Development Team, and everyone is reporting to sponsor directly. That is the basically reason here. No one is above there. It's a different kind of framework here. That's why Agile work on that way. Everyone has their own job. Resource calendar only human. No, there are four type of resources. Okay, there are four type of resources: manpower, machinery, material, money. All four resources are put it in the resource calendar. Okay, I'm lost with breaking subtask after sprint. You don't need to break subtask after sprint. You use user stories. Okay, so if something is uh, bigger than sprint, we call them epic. Normally, we can divide the user story further into task, but that is not always needed. User story is more than enough for PMP perspective. If risk is positive, then no. If on issue log is only negative, okay, issue log is only basically you can call it, Madhukar, you can call it as a problem log. Okay, so yes, that is problem. There's no value in that. We call them missed opportunity. Okay, we can put them into risk report that we missed something that was good, but since it is missed and it is not affecting them, there is no more action. SNM register that can be usable. Okay. G. What else? What else, guys? Any other question? Okay. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining the session. I hope you loved it. And please complete your assignment, update the trackers. We will have great coaching calls in the upcoming week. It will be very important. And of course, next Saturday, we will have 180 question answers from the ATP. We did 60, 60, 60. So buckle it up. Batch 9. Today, batch 8, like 40% or 50% batch 8 is cleared. So batch 9, you need to buckle up. Madhukar, Bala, Zishan, Vipul, Kaza, everyone else, Noor, I need you guys to speed up. With that, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Namaste. Wherever you are. Bye bye.